All right, what's going on, guys? It's Luke here. This is how we made about $1,800 on an eval today. Since it was a no news Monday, week of Christmas, I decided to start the week off trading eval. I'll be back on funded tomorrow. Tomorrow's probably going to be my only day trading funded this week. Wednesday, I'll probably just watch price again, trade eval. Thursday, Friday, no trading for me. But yeah, if you guys need a discount to Alpha Futures, you can use code LukeX. You can still get 10% off right now. So I'll leave a link in the pinned comment for Alpha, and if you guys need a link to the Discord where I have all of the executions, we're gonna be live trading stuff tomorrow, and pre-market analysis, all that stuff, I'll leave a link in the pinned comment as well. But this was the executions. I actually ended up taking this with micros and scaling out a little bit. So obviously I could have made, I probably could have hit, I think my full TP would have been about 2.3K. I ended up hitting about like 1850, I think it was, but basically I wanted to, since the alpha zeros you can only lose $1,000 per day. That's the daily loss limit. I wanted to have my stop below that. I didn't want to be stopped out just based on the daily loss limit. So I only used about like 15 micros on this trade just because it gave me good risk on the stop. So that's personally why I did that. Still, again, walked away with 1,800, so I'm pretty happy with that. But basically, coming into the day, I had a bearish bias. I wanted to see price flush lower. If you looked, we were creeping up on the 4 hour, but we still had draws and liquidity lower. ES hadn't swept out the previous week's high, and if you looked, NQ had swept out previous week's high. So as you can see, NQ took out the previous week's high. ES never did, so we technically had a bearish SMT kind of forming off the highs. And for draws and liquidity, all we really had was this very small 4 hour gap, and then we had this AM high from December 12th. So that was pretty much all we had buy side. We had already taken out overnight. We took out Asia, we took out London. So personally, I wanted to see a move down because for sell side, we had this hourly low, we had London low, we had this one, we had Asia low, and then we had this new week opening gap, which had just barely been poked into, and I figured it was going to want to get eventually retapped. So coming into market open, I was waiting for kind of some clear manipulation so that we could kind of see which way price wanted to manipulate, and then we could go from there. So market opens up, we wick down, we get this huge candle to the upside. I'm sure a lot of people got faked out thinking we were going to go up and tap this 4 hour, but then we get this huge manipulation or this huge candle back to the downside, and we end up just ripping down, and we end up trading all the way down and taking out London low. Now from there was actually an opportunity to kind of catch a reversal mech model into this 5-minute unfilled gap up here. I believe there was a 30-second inversion. I have to double check, but you could have entered even on this 1-minute candle right here and then took profit at the 5-minute. I didn't really take this just because I didn't like how choppy this kind of was moving, so I personally faded that. But if you guys did take something like that, I don't know, it depends on where your stop was, targeting into that 5-minute unfilled. Definitely a setup that you could have taken there. But my idea was to, again, I wanted to see a move lower. So from there, price ends up pulling back into this 5-minute bearish for value gap. The only thing that's throwing me off at this point is that NQ has swept out London low and ES is still hasn't. So we technically had a bullish SMT, but I figured that if we could come into this gap, we could get guidance. And if we wanted to trade above it, we could still look for longs, but I was highly doubting that. I figured that we'd come into this gap, rebalance, and then trade lower, which is what ended up happening. So after we swept London, we get this nice retrace into this 5-minute gap. Keep in mind, we'd already swept out majority of our buy side targets. We swept out London, we swept out Asia high, we swept out those hourly highs. We got a clear manipulation at market open. We manipulate, come back down. We're looking for the retrace, the continuation, and to continue lower because we have tons of sell side draws lower. So as you can see, price comes back and it fills in this 5-minute bearish gap. And I'm basically just looking for any type of reaction in order to be able to short and just some displacement or an inversion. So what I see here is this 1-minute bullish fair value gap right here. And I'm just waiting for this to get inversed. So obviously, I didn't really like how many candles we put in here. I prefer like a really strong V shape, but as you can see right here, we had a push into it, and then we failed to take above this high. So I figured that we were the bulls were slowing down, and I figured that we were going to get some type of bearish momentum at this point. On this candle right here, we get this strong bearish inversion candle displacement right here. So I just enter right here. Sometimes I do wait for the retrace, but this candle wasn't like, for example, if this candle was like this, I wouldn't probably jump on that. I'd wait for it to retrace and then get in, but I was fine taking this candle. So we take this inversion out of the 5-minute gap. We have draws lower. So I run my stop just about here. I think it was around 27 points right at the high, or around 25. And basically, I was just targeting all the way. I wanted to see price flood lower down to Asia low. Now, if I was on a funded, like if I was actually on a funded, I probably would have just TP'd like here at this internal low or like a 1-to-1 or something like that. But since I was on eval and I didn't go like crazy on the risk, I was willing to hold this and see it kind of play out. So basically, my idea was to see price at least come down to Asia low or come down to this new week opening gap. Basically, I scaled out a bit. I don't remember where the first scale out was, somewhere in and around here. Scaled here, and then final TPs were taken at the new week opening gap around 645, I think it was. So I'll run through it again really quick. Higher time frame buy side was all taken out. We really had no major draws above. I wanted to see price rebalance. As you can see, we just built up low resistance liquidity. So I figured that was going to get run through sooner than later. Market opens up, we get a nice manipulation to the upside, we come back down, price takes out London, but it pulls back into this 5-minute bearish gap. We're looking at a bearish continuation to the downside. If we get an entry confirmation, we get this 1-minute inversion, take the entry here, scale out on the way, final TP at the new week opening gap. Total trade was about 3.16 R. So super happy with this start to the week. Again, pretty good winner on eval, making progress. So hopefully can pass that. Well, I don't know if I'll be on eval tomorrow, but hopefully can just pass that one soon and get that out of the way. But yeah, that's it for me, guys. Again, link for alpha is in the pinned comment. Code, you want that 10% off, Luke X. And that's it for me. Discord, check it out, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.